Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Exploring the East Coast. Just as you thought there was some semblance of order with me heading north from Hornsey as far as Doncaster so far, I've headed back south all the way to the bottom of the East Coast Mainline at King's Cross. So I'll go into detail of what there is to do here and go to the other stations. This one's going to be a bit different. I'll probably be doing it over 2 or 3 different days. But yeah, so welcome to Flights and Times. So I'll cover the getting here bit first. Essentially it's London, King's Cross you can get to very easily. Mainline wise, obviously got Thameslink, Great Northern, LNER, Hull Trains and Grand Central, all cool here. You've also got a plethora of London Underground lines, Circle, Hammersmith and City, Metropolitan, Northern, Piccadilly and Victoria lines, all cool here. Obviously just across the road we've got St Pancras Station, where you can get further Thameslink services, East Midlands Railway, Eurostar from mainland Europe, and Southeastern Javelin services from Kent. So yeah, if you want to come to King's Cross, there is a million ways to get here. Not quite, but you know what I mean. In terms of what there is to do around here, well, it's London. I couldn't cover everything. I'd have to dedicate multiple vlogs and blogs to what there is to do in London. But I'm going to show you a couple of things around King's Cross specifically where you might like to visit if you're down here. The first behind me is the Real Food Festival Market. It's here Wednesday to Friday 12 till 7, although a couple of the stalls open first thing in the morning. So yeah, come here, try some nice food. I've tried it a couple of times and it is delicious. Obviously there's also various other food traders around here where you can grab something to eat. So that's the first stop, right outside, Wednesday to Friday. But I'm going to show you a couple more places, so join me as we wander around the area of King's Cross. So if you head up the east side of King's Cross Station, there's a road called York Way, and you get this view of the front of King's Cross, the north end. Obviously not necessarily an attraction, but it is a travel and transport blog, so excuse me whilst I indulge. York Way was also home to a one platform addition to King's Cross York Way station, which was separate to the main station, and essentially the platform was below me here. That's a topic for a different vlog. I think there's plenty online about York Way station. I'll try and put a link in the description to 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, just thought I'd show you this on the way to the first stop. So a risky bit of filming this. I'm going to be careful not to take a step backwards, otherwise I'm going to get a bit wet. But behind me is the Regent's Canal, which connects the River Thames at Limehouse to the Grand Union Canal, which essentially will go all the way to Birmingham. So this is about a 5-minute walk north of King's Cross. It runs essentially over the King's Cross throat. The tunnels, the lines out of King's Cross go under it, under the throat of St Pancras, and along through North London to Paddington and the Great Union. Close to here is the London Canal Museum, one of London's lesser known attractions. That's open Fridays and weekends at the moment, usually open Thursdays as well, but closed a bit due to the pandemic. But yeah, that's again on my way here from King's Cross, so about 4 or 5 minute walk up York Way and to the right. So yeah, I'm going to continue along here to another location near King's Cross to show you. So yeah, we'll carry on here. So to the north side of Regent's Canal, just across from King's Cross and St Pancras, it all used to be very industrial. You had 2 coal drop sheds that transshipped coal from South Yorkshire arriving on the railway onto barges, had gas works, and yeah, it was all very industrial. Throughout time that industry has closed. My area was quite derelict, but now you've got Coal Drops Yard, a commercial area, eateries, restaurants, etc. Nice area to relax. You've also got Gasholder Park, which is a nice green space on the banks of Regent's Canal, just across from St Pancras. So yeah, it's all a nice area to relax, a bit away from the hustle and bustle of London. But this is some of Coal Drops Yard. I'm going to carry on up to Gasholder Park and then head back to catch a train up one stop to Finsbury Park. So I'm not going to go to Gasholder Park. It's a little bit further up than I thought. It's essentially in the V between the Midland Main Line and the HS1 from coming out of St Pancras. But essentially, show you how close to St Pancras and King's Cross this place is, Coal Drops Yard, etc. So the Victorian brick, I think, water tower behind me is kind of the St Pancras entrance to Coal Drops Yard. Even there's a bridge across the Regent's Canal and you come straight out into it. So that's there, and then just about to see St Pancras here, and that is the Great Northern Hotel at King's Cross. So yeah, I'm now going to go to St Pancras, catch a Thameslink train one stop up to Finsbury Park, and I'll show you a bit around there. So as you can tell from possibly one of the world's largest and most faded station signs behind me, I'm now at Finsbury Park. I'm going to do a bit of a cheat with this one. I'm not actually going to go outside the station. Unfortunately, I've only got about 15-20 minutes before I need to catch a train, so I've not really got time to explore. However, I have been around here before, so there's a few things I can tell you about. Firstly, about the station and services. So you've got a selection of Thameslink and Great Northern services here. Thameslink up to Peterborough and Cambridge, and southbound to Brighton and Horsham. Great Northern, you've got some peak services to Peterborough, Cambridge, but you've also got the local Welwyn Garden City and Stevenage services that go down to Moorgate Station. Tube wise, you've got the Piccadilly and Victoria lines downstairs, so again, easily accessible from across the southeast. What is there around Finsbury Park? So, as the name suggests, there is a park. It's Finsbury Park. You can just see the trees, etc. behind me, so it's not very far from the station. It's huge, loads of open space, sports pitches, etc. Just a lovely place to have a wander around and chill. Between here and Arsenal tube station, I think, Arsenal, kind of over here, there is also a kind of gardens walkway along Old Railway area, which is very nice to have a walk. And also, as I said, Arsenal. Somewhat in the distance, but there is the Emirates Stadium, home to Arsenal since the early 2000s, 2010s, I can't remember. They've been there a while now. But yeah, so that's kind of what there is to do around Finsbury Park. It's kind of the secondary London station on the East Coast Mainline. You've got a bit more variety here, but the fast services, fast LNER services like that one, don't stop here unless there's engineering works, and when it did, it all went wrong. So yeah, they don't tend to stop here. But that's kind of it from Finsbury Park. That's it from today, but further on in this video I'll also be visiting the next few stops north, which I can't remember what they are, but I think Harringay, Hornsey, Alexandra Palace and Brookman's Park maybe. Something like that is in the rest of this episode. I'll be on one of the local Great Northern services for that, class 717. But yeah, so that's it from Finsbury Park. So I will see you at whatever the next station is that I might visit. Welcome back to this episode of Exploring the East Coast. As you can see, I'm at New Southgate, the most northerly of the 6 stations being covered in this episode. This is one north of Alexandra Palace, which is where the Great Northern local routes split. So New Southgate is served half hourly by Great Northern services between Moorgate and Welwyn Garden City, calling it all stations. So there's 2 trains an hour in each direction. I think there's a few more during the peak, but off peak it's about 10 to 11 now. There is 2 trains an hour. So I'm going to have a bit of a wander around and see what there is around here, but looking at Google Maps there is quite a few green spaces. So let's go and see whether they're worth a visit. So the first of the green spaces I've found is this Trayon Bridge open space, which is sandwiched between a retail park in front of me, housing estates on 2 sides, and the North Circular, which you might just be able to hear behind me. It's essentially a small open area. There is a little pond, which is quite nice, although there is a massive collection of pigeons. Yeah. This certainly isn't worth a visit in itself. If you happen to have an hour to kill around New Southgate, it's about a 5 to 10 minute walk from the station, so certainly worth a wander rather than sitting at the station or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to continue over the North Circular. Thankfully there is a bridge behind me, because the other side seems to be a much larger area of green space. So I think if I go down there I can get to that bridge, but I'm not going to because I'm a bit pressed on time again. That's going to be the theme of this episode. However, across the bridge is Hollickwood Park, and to the far side of that park is Bluebell Wood, which is was part of the much larger Tottenham Wood, which covered 167 acres in the 1600s. It's now the only bit left, but it's ancient woodland, popular with dog walkers, and it's amazing that you can still find this green space in the centre of London, literally a stone's throw from the North Circular. Welcome to the 3rd day of filming for this episode of Exploring the East Coast. The East Coast Mainline is just to my left. I'm actually in Finsbury Park itself, having got off a Thameslink service at Finsbury Park station. I know I said in the first part when I visited Finsbury Park I wasn't going to show you the park or leave the station, but I lied, so here we go. This walk from the station is actually to cover the thing I'm going to class as a thing to do at Harringay, covering Harringay, Hornsey and Alexandra Palace today. The first thing to do is the Parkland Walk, which runs along the old railway cutting that ran from Finsbury Park up to Highgate and then on back round to Alexandra Palace. So yeah, it starts about halfway up Finsbury Park, halfway between Finsbury Park and Harringay. So we're going to do that, but I'll show you a quick clip of Finsbury Park itself and then we'll get on to the Parkland Walk. So all in all, the Parkland Walk runs for about 4 kilometres. It's split in the middle at Highgate. There's no access to the bit that goes through Highgate Station, well, the old derelict Highgate Station, not the tube part. So yeah, you've got one part that runs from Finsbury Park to Highgate, and then another part that runs from Highgate up to Alexandra Palace. I'm going to end up at Alexandra Palace today, so I might be at the other end. So I'm only going to do a short part of this today. Seems to be very popular with walkers, cyclists, joggers, dog walkers, and very nice little green corridor in this part of North London. So yeah, show you a bit more, and then I'm off to Harringay Station to catch a Great Northern service just up to Hornsey. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this disused railway. I believe it opened in 1871 and I believe it closed post World War II, but there are plenty of videos on YouTube. Jeff Marshall, Jeff Tech, did one as part of his London's Disused Railway series. I'm sure the Whitewicks, Paul and Rebecca, have done one, and I believe Jay Foreman did one about its part in the Northern Heights plan. So I'll link to those videos in the description below, but for now I'm going to enjoy this little bit of walk before I head up to Harringay and catch a train from there. So I hope you enjoy this bit of greenery, and I'll see you on a train. Made it to Harringay. It's about a 10-minute walk from here to the Parkland Walk, down Stapleton Hall Road. You'll pass the Parish Peace Garden, which I'll show you now. It's on your right hand side as you're heading from Harringay Station to the Parkland Walk. That commemorates the site of a V1 bomb hit during World War II, and there's a nice sign and a little place to sit and a bit of wildflower. Nice little, again, little bit of green space. But Parkland Walk's a nice walk. Here at Harringay, not much to see at the station. 2 platforms, Great Northern only, but you've got the main East Coast Mainline running through the centre. Just to the north is Hornsey Depot, but we'll see that more when we get to Hornsey Station. We've also got the little bit of curve of track that connects the North London line to here. These 3 stations, Harringay, Hornsey and Alexandra Palace, see 4 trains an hour on Great Northern. You've got the Moorgate to Welwyn Garden City services and the Moorgate to Stevenage services. Unfortunately, they're not evenly split, so it's not a 15-minute wait for a train. You've either got a 9-minute wait heading north or a 21-minute wait, and sod's law, I've got the 21-minute wait. Well, I've got about 15. I turned up just having missed one about 5 minutes ago. I'm not sure of the split southbound, but yeah, so you've got 4 trains a service, 4 trains an hour service here. All 4 go south to Moorgate or to King's Cross first thing and last thing in the morning. But yeah, so I'm going to jump on board the next Great Northern service that comes along, head 1 stop north to Harringay and see what's there. Not Harringay, Hornsey, and see what's there. So I'm here at Hornsey, station's just above the East Coast Mainline. Again, 2 platforms, northbound here, southbound here, Great Northern only. It's about a 15-minute walk to where the town centre is here, so I'm going to walk down there and see what's about. But yeah, the main feature near the station is Hornsey Depot, for Thameslink and Great Northern, and off in the distance the Fern Park sidings. But yeah, so 15-minute walk to the town, and we'll see what's there. I cheated and got a bus, couldn't be bothered with a 15-minute walk. I want to try and get on with stuff today. So behind me is Crouch End Clock Tower, built in 1895 for Henry Reader Williams, a local benefactor. It's kind of the focal point of Crouch End Broadway, which seems to be the main centre near Hornsey Station. London geography around here confuses me a little bit, so they were in Crouch End now, not Hornsey, but yeah, Crouch End Station's that way. So yeah, yeah, this is kind of the main thing to see in the area. Lots of shops, lots of quite old architecture around here, and some more not so very nice modern stuff like that. But yeah, lots of nice buildings as well, general shops, brands, chains and independent ones. So yeah, I'm now going to catch another bus and I'm going to head up to Alexandra Palace, not the station, the actual palace. So I think for this bit I'm just going to have to admit that trying to film the entirety of Alexandra Palace in one shot is going to be a nightmare. So behind me is the Palm Court entrance to Alexandra Palace. The palace was constructed, well, opened, and construction was completed in 1875. However, only 2 weeks after it opened, a fire gutted it and it had to be rebuilt, opening again at a later date. Originally it was a private venture until 1900, and the owners then wanted to sell it and the parkland space around it off for development. Thankfully the local public bodies intervened. An act of parliament meant that it had to be it's looked after by trustees. The current trustee is Harringay Borough Council here in London. And it's now an events and entertainment venue. But there's plenty more to tell you about Alexandra Palace, so I'm going to find a spot to get a view of the front of the building and tell you a bit more. I think this is as good a place as any to get a view of Ali Palace's famous frontage. Originally it was constructed to be a cultural venue and public space. It's still what it's used for today. It was constructed here in North London to provide some symmetry to Crystal Palace in South London. Crystal Palace no longer exists, however Ali Palace obviously does, and so has survived now almost 150 years. A lot of the history of the building is surrounding the TV and radio mast. In 1935, the trustees leased part of the building to the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC, to allow them to broadcast their newfangled television from this site. And Ali Palace was used by the BBC until many years after World War II, and the TV and radio mast that you can see behind us is still used to broadcast signals to this day. The other great thing about Ali Palace is it's located on top of a hill in North London, and so the views south towards the River Thames are absolutely stunning. From here I can see Stratford and the Olympic Stadium, Canary Wharf and the Isle of Dogs, as well as the City of London itself and the skyscrapers that have now become famous in London's skyline. Whilst the building has at points in its history planned to be destroyed. It is now Grade 2 listed, and so isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It was refurbished by Harringay Council a couple of years ago, I think 2016-17, and it's now a massive cultural venue still. The Great Hall here can hold more than 10,000 people. It also has the original 2 TV studios and producers' galleries which host historic television equipment, and it also houses a Victorian theatre. So in addition to Alexandra Palace itself, there is also Alexandra Park here, an 80-hectare open space with lots of green space, woodland, and also a put-and-play miniature golf. If you're heading to Ali Pali, there is the W3 bus, which runs up the hill, with stops right outside of the palace itself. That runs from Northumberland Park to Finsbury Park via Ali Pali station. So I got the bus up from Crouch End, as you saw. I'm now walking down the hill back to Alexandra Palace station. I think if you walked up, you obviously can walk up the hill. It's a bit of a climb, quite a steep one. The bus struggled a bit. But yeah, this is a lovely place for a bit of a wander on a random Monday morning in August. So I'm back at Ali Pali station. I've just noticed this rose garden, but it's called the Rose Garden, ran by the Friends of Ali Pali. That's it for this video, so thank you for coming along. It's been a bit of a weird one as we've gone from the hustle and bustle outside London King's Cross to the quietness and open space of Alexandra Park here in North London. So I've got to get a train down into London again now, meeting someone south of the river this afternoon. But thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.